have you back. It's time for us to take you around the stories making the daily headlines this morning. And of course, I'm not alone in the house. I'm with my gorgeous queen this morning.
Good morning, and good morning, our viewer. You're welcome to Good Morning Anambra, the TGIF edition.
TGIF. Well, let's introduce our guest in the house before we go to the papers this morning. We have Dr. Mbanefo Ogene, a senior lecturer, English Department, Nnamdi Azikiwe University. Dr. Ogene, good to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
And of course, we have Michael Okichukwu, a public affairs analyst. Good to have you also on the game.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, viewers.
All right. Let's kickstart with the stories making the headlines on our ABS website.
World Sight Day, optometrist embark on roadshow enlightenment campaign in Oka Day. Anambra Deputy Governor Okeke taxed stakeholders on challenge of early marriage. IMF, World Bank intensify war against illicit funds. Anambra Health Commissioner reassures on health of girls and women. TUC Anambra State dissociates self from media publication on pension scam, restates confidence in Obiano.
All right, these are stories. I just pick one or two stories from there and talk about it. We'll start with the World Sight Day, optometrist embark on roadshow enlightenment campaign in Oka.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about it.
Yes, actually, the problem of sight is such that is of immense concern to us these days because of the factor of ignorance on the part of the people. So there is that awareness campaign that people should always take care of their sight because the eye is the window. When there is no more sight, it's a problem. And some people ignorantly blind themselves in the course of trying to treat certain ailments. So I think that that particular awareness campaign is of very, very much importance. People should go and look after their eyes and take good care of their eyes so that their sight should not fail them. Human body begins to, have problems as one is getting aged. So as you are growing, you may start developing some problems because the bodies are weakened, and that includes the eye also. So the earlier one really takes care of the eye, the better for that person, yes.
All right, let's look at the International Girl Child Day. Anambra Deputy Governor Okeke taxed stakeholders on challenge of early marriage. Mr. Michael, we celebrated that yesterday, and then this is Deputy Governor admonition stakeholders to see what they can do to end early marriage.
It is a good development. The importance of this cannot be overemphasized. What one can advise the state government and the promoters of the awareness is to take it to the grassroots. Okay. Going around major cities where you have the educated ones and elites sending their children to school doesn't really send the message home. Take it to the grassroots where you have farmers and illiterate aged people that don't believe in what you're telling them and they have their own culture.
All right, thank you. Let's move on to the very first papers this morning. Daily Sun, stories making the headlines this morning. Atiku better than Buhari. And that's coming from ex-president Obasanjo. On top of that story, Save Journalism, Osibaja tells editors, INEC lists threats to 2019 general elections. Whenever or wherever you might have offended me, I forgive you, and I sincerely advise you to learn from the past and do what is right, and it will be well with you. Your gang up will fail. That's coming from the presidency. Crisis Haiti Ekiti Assembly head Payami's inauguration. 2019 will support pro-restructuring candidate Ohaneze. INEC budget, Buhari Senate head for showdown. Lawmaker override president on election funding. Now let's look at the big story. Atiku, better than Buhari. That's coming from ex-president Obasanjo. He's endorsed Atiku for 2019 elections. Doctor?
Well, thank you very much. The problem of Nigeria actually is on the issue of politics leadership. And I know that from the antecedents, the Igbos have actually, the Igbo people have always suffered one thing or the other, starting from the Civil War. So I wouldn't know the particular yardsticks with which Obasanjo is measuring Atiku. as better than Buhari.
Well, he was actually his VP, so.
Well,
now he's telling him that he has forgiven him everything. He
well. He knows why he should say that. Obasanjo knows why he should say that. But everybody has his own good qualities. I know that actually, naturally, there is that sentiment. The sentiment is that due to certain reasons, especially for the particular massacre of people, and of course the hardship in the economy. For instance, the fuel price was increased and the salaries are not increased. So many people have already started having that kind of bias that Buhari is not a very good leader, that he's better a military leader. So I think that's the main thing, that probably people are feeling that a civilian leadership is better than that of
quickly, in 10 seconds, just now, what's your take on Obasanjo endorsing Atiku?
Obasanjo endorsing Atiku is because Obasanjo knows Atiku is capable of doing the job, beside the little problem they've been having in the past. Atiku was part of Obasanjo's government in all the reforms that took place, from the military transition to democratic transition. And you can say from that time till date, from 1999 till date, that Obasanjo regime was the best so far.
All right, let's go over to the next paper, the Daily Times. Story making the headline: 2019, Obasanjo makes U-turn, endorses Atiku, insists Atiku will be next president, better than Buhari. Obasanjo's endorsement of ex-VP will not distract Buhari presidency. Court upholds Buhari's executive order to seize assets linked to corruption. 2019 polls: Oshibanjo Okowa seeks credible media coverage. Few days to Fayoshe's exit, Ekiti Assembly impeaches Speaker and orders. Senate confirms 22 NPC commissioners reject one to screen 9 ICPC nominees. INEC recognizes redeploys Amina Zakari from operations to health department. All right, let's look at the court upholding Buhari's executive order to seize assets linked to corruption. Dr. Owate.
Well, the problem of corruption has actually been there since the history of Nigeria. The order could be commendable and laudable, but let me say that corruption is a cankerworm that has eaten deep into the fabric of the nation. In fact, what led to the first coup in this country is as a result of corruption. And today, every segment of the society, we thought that Buhari would have really redeemed this country from corrupt practices. But it's like everything you see now, there is nowhere that anybody has that kind of confidence that there's no more corruption. So if the order could have been actually implemented, and the problem of Nigerian politics wouldn't be there, because our problem actually boils down to ethnicity, religious sentiments, and of course other social malaise that has really bedeviled the country. So even if that order is given in good terms, at the end of the day, it will still be that Nigerian factor. People may not really, uphold it in good faith. And of course, at the end of the day, there may be victims, and sometimes the innocent ones are the victims. So the order is very good if it could be done in good faith. That's my own stand on that particular issue.
All right.
So let me come in a little there.
Okay.
If you uphold the rule of law in this one because the court favors you, and we know that there are so many judgments that the president has refused to obey, what does that tell us now? Is it that he's at liberty to choose whichever one he wants? So we can applaud this, but what of other judgments that he has refused to uphold?
All right.
We should be looking at both sides of the arguments and analyze it properly.
Let me ask you, you mean by rule of law that executive order shouldn't, if we are really following the law strictly, I don't know whether you're saying that there shouldn't have been an executive order, that the law should have been maintained.
All right. Well,
all right.
Let's move on to the next paper. The Nation's stories making the headlines on the Nations this morning. Gang up will fail, says Buhari, as Obasanjo endorses Atiku. Now, on top of that story, we've got Ekiti Speaker Deputy sacked. Court upholds Executive Order 6. Pension fund assets hit 8.23 trillion. Eagles can't afford to fail Libya test, says General. They will lose together, says presidency. Now, of course, the big one, gang up will fail, says Buhari, as Obasanjo endorses Atiku. Now, we know that the fight for 2019 is between APC and PDP. And now Obasanjo endorsing Atiku, of course, goes a very long way to say that, hey, 2019, APC, get ready, we're ready for you. Now, presidency says gang up will fail. What do you feel about it, Michael?
Because he knows what he's talking about. If you look at what is happening today, you see that all the security apparatus and everything that matters in election period is in the is with the presidency. And you also will look at what has been happening in recent elections in Nigeria. You take the case of Ekiti, where you have a sitting governor that is very popular, and all of a sudden is losing election. The people who cannot even be allowed to come out and protest in the street. You take the case of Osun State, where you have a candidate that was announced that was leading seriously, and you now start remembering that there are invalid votes. Only for you to give the so he knows what he's saying, and I think Buhari should be taken very serious.
Okay.
Because anybody that is thinking Buhari is joking will know that Buhari has once been beaten, and they will not want such things to happen again.
All right.
Time is not really our friend.
Let me just say this. I want to say something on this gang up affair. It's very pregnant, that statement, honestly speaking. And it shows that there's nothing like democracy in this country. I mean, if the presidency should just say that, it means that there's no election. So why do people bother themselves coming out to go and vote?
No, but they are entitled to their own opinion.
It should be taken very serious. That's what I'm saying.
It's a very serious statement to say gang up if fail. People have the choice on who they want to. A good leader should just be very, very distant.
Yeah, this is not the same people that ganged up and made him president.
All right, let's move over to the Punch newspaper. The banner headline says 2019 mixed reaction as Obasanjo endorses Atiku. Ex-president says PDP candidate has capacity to perform better than Buhari. All right, look at what was written there. Obasanjo was Buhari's boss. The former president was also Atiku's boss. He asked Nigerians to vote for Buhari in 2015. Now he has seen the limited ability of the president, PDP. The other one, it was the same Obasanjo who said God would not forgive him if he supported Atiku for anything. Well, God is still there. We hope Obasanjo, still remembers. That is.
You know, when you actually listen to words like this,
is there anything wrong in what Obasanjo has done? He was boss to both of them. And Obasanjo has always said that Buhari is good at criticizing, but he's not good at governance. That he's a righteous man, he's a straightforward man, but that doesn't multiply into governance. So if Obasanjo has given Buhari the opportunity first to go, because Buhari sees every other person as corrupt. Today he is having the mantle of leadership. We have seen how good he is at it. Then Obasanjo, being the father to both of them, is saying that, my friend, you've tried your best. You know you cannot do this, but we just have to give you the benefit of doubt. Now let us try your colleague, with my other son, and see. And let me tell you, in my own personal opinion, I think Atiku understands more of politics.
I was going to say that the way you really sound is like you're articulated right now.
No, you see, I am of good governance. You don't let the viewers think I am biased.
No, I'm not. I'm the way you sound.
If the way the country is being run is good for you, then you should know maybe you're not in this country.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on to the last.
Unless you have a third candidate, let me discuss that one.
Let's move on to the last papers. Guidance newspaper stories making the headlines. Obasanjo makes U-turn, says Atiku better than Buhari. Oyedepo Kuka Gumi Adibanjo meet ex-leader. Approval inconsequential, insists presidency. How Afenifere Ohaneze orders pacified ex-president. Now, court okays executive order to seize corrupt persons' properties. Osibanjo Okowa attacks editors on ethnic professionalism, journalist welfare. Ekiti lawmakers impeach principal officers, suspend Fayose loyalists. Okay, let's quickly go to court okays executive order to seize corrupt persons' property. What would you have to say about that, Michael?
That's what I'm telling you. That if court is okay in an executive order close to election period, you're just going to overheat the policy. Because you want to use backyard tactics to stranglehold your opponents, the opposition. Where has the court been all the while? Where was the executive order that lasted till into 3 years, more than 3 years into your administration?
All right, finally.
So that's not the way things should be done. On that?
Okay, now
and there will be resistance.
Look at Osibanjo and Okowa, editors on ethics, professionalism, and journalist welfare during coverage of election. You were once a journalist, so I want you to throw more light on that.
Well, that's a very good. It's a very good decision, but I know that the Nigerian party will always come in As a journalist, I practiced journalism for about 10 years with this particular establishment before I now transferred my services to the university. And I know that the executives or the politicians will always want to muzzle the press. So the press may not really be, so to speak, free in most cases, because if we should really do the right thing as journalists, of course, we must always be objective, no matter what, no matter the situation. But the fact is that some of the journalists have already been conformed, they have already conformed their own conscience to the leaders, to the leadership. I recall very vividly when somebody that was contesting there for governor asked me that I should be projecting him on the screen, whether he said anything or not. At the end of the month, I should come and I will just receive my pay. But I know I told the person that as a Christian, I could not just do that. So I wish every journalist will be like that we should have that principle, that particular godliness, to reject any inducement to cause us to say what is not the truth in the case of election or whatever thing that really happens. If Nigeria should be better, it's for all of us.
All right.
Thank you very much. As once a journalist as well with Vanguard Media Limited, I will tell you that it's the economy, not really this Buhari economy anyway. From time immemorial, since this brown envelope thing started, most times it's the journalists that make the advancement first. You see a journalist coming to cover a program, and at the end of the day, after the program they will not leave. They will be waiting for their transportation. So you don't expect somebody that gives you don't write against somebody that gives you a brown envelope which you requested for.
All right, thank you so very much. We really want to say a very big thank you to Dr. Mbane Forganer, Senior Lecturer, English Department, Nnamdi Azikiwe University. Many thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you very, very much.
And of course, Mr. Michael Okechukwu, a public affairs analyst. It's good to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Well, this is the much we have for you on Newspaper Review, Dimma.
Yes.